Hey, I'm Jamey from Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to talk about the game Zilch, my favorite mechanism in Zilch. I played this game for the first time, amazingly, at a family reunion recently, and I say amazingly because this game and its many different versions, including, I think Farkle is like the trademarked version of the game, but there are also many different variations of this game where each player is rolling 6 dice. You're scoring some of those dice and you're choosing whether or not to re-roll the other dice. With the push your luck element of the game being that when you re-roll dice, if you can't score any of them, then you lose everything that you've accumulated on that turn, all the points that you've accumulated on that turn. The other hook that I really appreciate, and this is probably my favorite mechanism in the game, is that if you manage to score all 6 of your dice through various combinations, like 1s and 5s just by themselves are worth some points, 4 of a kind is worth some points, 3 of a kind, 3 pairs, a full straight of all 6 dice. So different ways to score points in these different combinations of numbers. But if you manage to score all 6 dice, then you have the choice to re-roll all of your dice. So you get to temporarily save the points that you've earned, re-roll all of your dice, and hopefully score even more points. And this leads to a really addictive element of the game and a great catch-up mechanism in that you are always in the game. I pushed my luck way too much in my game of Zilch. I fell pretty far behind, but I was still in it. I knew that at any time I could roll a great roll, manage to score all 6 dice, re-roll all of them, and then do it again, and potentially even again or again. I could keep on going as long as I can score something from the dice that I roll. And that was definitely my favorite mechanism. The temptation to continue to try to refresh all 6 dice. So even if I've scored all 5 dice, maybe I have 700 points from those dice. We're trying to get up to 10,000 points. And I have 1 die left. And you know with 1 die, you can only score if you roll a 1 or a 5. So the odds are actually against you. You probably don't want to roll that 1 die. But if you manage to get a little lucky, and that 33% chance, if you get a little bit lucky and you manage to roll a 1 or a 5 on that die, that means that all of your dice then have scored and you get to re-roll all of them. And you're ideally avoiding the situation where you're just relying on 1 die, and you also don't get to score pairs in Zilch, so 2 dice aren't really all that valuable either. So you're avoiding those situations. Ideally, you would have already rolled sets prior to that and just have all 6 dice ready to score. But that temptation of rolling 1 or even 2 dice to try to get those 1s and 5s feels really good, especially when you have fallen a little bit behind and you need to catch up a little bit and try to jump ahead of the other players or even catch up to them. So yeah, that is my favorite mechanism in Zilch, this idea of trying to get to the point where you have scored all 6 dice so that you have the chance to re-roll all of them, and maybe you'll get lucky on that roll, end up with a straight or a 4 of a kind or a 5 of a kind to score a bunch of points. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Zilch, Farkle, the many different other variants of this game. And if you have a favorite house rule or a little tweak to the primary rules that you play with, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Thanks.